So I found myself in YouTube Studio refreshing the page to see if the video I recently posted will finally gain some traction. All of a sudden, I start getting some views, only to stop before 50. This basically has been my routine for months now at this point, until I stumbled onto a video of someone talking about like repurposing content and stuff like that, mainly short form content, ads, and something that sticked out to me the most was targeting text-based social media. I instantly got an idea. What if expanding on X will be the solution for me actually getting more videos on YouTube? Because that's all I actually want. So I decided to document my progress trying it out for a whole week. I'm currently on day 4. And believe me when I tell you this, a lot has happened. So very quickly, let me get you up to date from day 1. I basically spent my day 1 learning and setting everything up. I started learning everything I could about X and how to get followers, how to get impressions, all that good stuff. So I can ultimately redirect people from X to my YouTube videos and overall get more views. So after digesting all of the content I did, I came to these conclusions. You basically need to get X Premium to get more exposure. Posting 3 to 5 times a day is ideal to get your content out there and actually get some impressions on your page and people checking your profile. And I don't mean like replies, I mean like actual posts you make there. I don't know how you call them. Reply to around 30 to 50 tweets. You know, when you reply to them, there's more impressions going to your page. Post 2 to 3 threads a day. Like sitting here today, I'm not really sure if I know what threads are. Please educate me on this because I need some help figuring this out. Make a list of at least 60 people in your niche. That 20 are small pages like below 10,000 followers, and follow 20 pages that start from 10,000 and up to 100,000, and 20 pages from 100,000 onwards. I decided not to go with X Premium just so this video is more relatable and it reaches everyone. And definitely not because I can't find my wallet. So I got my profile presentable and then I started following 60 people. These 60 people were the people on my niche and I actually started following them right away. So by the end of day 1, this is how my profile looked. It looked quite miserable, but I was posting and I actually was retweeting like 30 tweets a day. This is how day 1 ended. My profile was still simple and not a lot of exposure, nothing much happened. And that's when day 2 came around. I woke up with like an idea. I decided to actually pin one of the posts for my most recent video on YouTube because I think I actually saw another profiles doing this and it's actually what I actually want, you know. So I did it and I almost immediately started seeing the difference. So making the thumbnail good plays a crucial role here. And then I actually started getting some replies, that meaning that what I was actually replying to was actually working. And I was low-key hyped. This was my first like I got for a reply that I got. So yeah, I was booming that time. And before I knew it, the pinned post was gaining traction, man. Like every time I checked it, it was just getting higher and higher. I think at one point it actually got to 200 impressions. And when I got to 200, I actually started gaining hope because when I checked the statistics, I figured out that 2 people actually clicked on the link. So that means something was working. Believe me, I was dancing. I was literally dancing. It was all starting to make sense. All because one small tweak made all the difference. But one problem always seems to arise. Don't get me wrong, my posts are getting impressions. I think my pinned post only started gaining traction actually because of this. So don't get me wrong, that's good. But what I figured out is I was actually interacting with posts that were aged, you know, like that they had like 5 hours, 3 days. Yeah, they were long posted before I replied. And that's a big no-no because when you do this, the page or the post might already have reached its peak and less people will see it. But when you find the post when it's still fresh and it's like within an hour, you know, it still has room to grow and more people will tend to see your actual comment there. So what I decided was actually starting to show up early, show up and only reply to posts that have been up for like minutes. The less, the better. What I noticed is my list was short on people. I didn't have enough room to actually find, Opa, what's up, brother? So because I only had 60 people on my list, I actually didn't have enough room to have people constantly sending me messages. It wasn't as constant. So my idea was to increase the number of people on my list. So that's exactly what I did. And right before I was about to end day 2, drum rolls please, I got my first follower. Thank you, thanks, thank you, thanks. Okay, I won't lie, this made me hyped, bro. It really made me see the potential of this, and it twisted a gear on my brain. Around day 2 to day 3, I don't remember it correctly, but I really started getting tired of having to manually post and manually tweet and actually having to do the replies as well. So what I did was I sat down and I actually scheduled posts for the whole month. I actually scheduled 3 posts per day for 1 month. This was actually 84 posts, and after that an idea popped up. I actually decided to expand to community posts as well. That explains why I have been posting a lot of community posts recently, so be sure to like them. And fast forward to today, day 4, I actually ended up unfollowing some accounts that weren't aligned with my niche and ended up following some more that were aligned with my niche. The biggest news today is that now I have 7 followers. I'm famous, and my pinned tweet is close to 500 impressions. That's crazy. Although there are still 2 link clicks, that isn't a problem at all. The exposure is more than enough for me. Then I went on to check my YouTube studio, and check this out, 74 impressions in like 3 days. So that means that is working too. Now, more than ever, I was starting to become confident. At this rate, I can't even imagine how day 7 will be. So let's find out. I'll fast forward day 5 and 6 since nothing really special happened. The impressions I was getting at the time were straight dog water, like literally terrible, until I started implementing something that's giving me crazy results. I started trying to stand out. Sounds easy, doesn't it? But it wasn't. Since I was mainly typing responses, and with a lot of luck, sometimes I would get upwards of 6 impressions, and that wasn't cool at all. So I decided to switch to media, like GIFs and all that. And this works because it inevitably takes more space, and that means there are more odds of people actually coming across and seeing my post or my reply. These are some examples, and the one that gave me more impressions and is one of my favorite GIFs is this one of Anderson .Paak like jumping into a pool of money, and it had like 70 views. Don't get me wrong, some of my text-based replies also had some sort of success, but I noticed that like media works a whole lot better in comparison and more often, because it actually takes more space and it's more likely for people to notice it, engage with it, and more likely to make it go viral. After implementing this, it led me to the highlight of this time frame. When I was experimenting sending media as replies, I stumbled onto this video. I really hope the screen recording is self-explanatory. Let me play it.
Arabian.
Long story short, I got my first block. Don't know if I should be happy or sad. Although I was blocked, I was actually wondering if my post would go down or if he would erase it or something like that. But it didn't, and it's still up as we speak. But was it worth it? You'll decide. Now, day 7. Let's get the community posts out the way. These are the total impressions I had on YouTube. Don't know why, but there was one day that I didn't get not even 1 impression. That's crazy. 0. It was yesterday or today. These analytics sometimes make me go crazy. And this is the amount of likes I got in total. On an important note, I haven't replied to tweets today on X So I was planning on replying like after making this video. I got a little wasted with time, but if the math doesn't add up, that's the reason why. I was able to get 9 followers. Actually, it was 10, but we don't miss that one guy here anymore. And my pinned post, above 600 impressions. Yeah, that really blew me away, I won't lie. But the pinned post is about to be replaced with this video right here that I'm making. So it really had a good run. I didn't really get any more like engagement in terms of link clicks, in terms of profile visits from this one specifically, but in general I really felt the difference because of the implementation of media, like sending gifts and all that. It really skyrocketed my impressions on my page. Hopefully you learned something with all this, because I'll be continuing for the whole month. The first link in my description is for my Discord. I'm going to be updating you guys there.